that over a long period of time is very, very, very bad for your body. And I kind of went through a little bit of a rock bottom. I had a falling out with like two of my best friends. And I think that dating can be such a beautiful experience if we actually just speak our truth and we come from a loving place and like speak from our heart. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Alignment Academy. It is your host, Kristen. And if you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Alignment Academy is a school for your soul to grow and evolve. We talk about all things spirituality, entrepreneurship, personal growth, healing. It is really the biggest intersection between entrepreneurship as a spiritual or personal growth journey. But even if you're not an entrepreneur and you're just entrepreneur-esque, meaning you want to lead your own life and do things your way, then you have a space here. You're welcome to be here. Honestly, the root of my work is like the healing and the inner work. And so I feel like that is for everyone. And a lot of people that are not entrepreneurs are also in Alignment Academy and take my courses like School of Intuition or Inner Work Alchemy. So what I'm trying to say is welcome, whoever you are. You're meant to be here. And I'm so happy you stumbled upon the podcast, however you found it. Today is going to be a different type of episode because we're doing a personal update, which we have not done in so freaking long. And I'm pumped to do it because honestly, I just feel like I have a lot to say. And when I was planning out these episodes, I was looking at all the things that I want to, I would try to give you guys like life updates in the intros. And I was like, there is so much to update them on. Why don't I just do a whole episode on it? So this is what that's going to be. And I just like miss you guys. And I feel like a lot is unfolded and has been just present for me. So we're going to get super vulnerable. We're going to get super into all the facets of my life. So without further ado, I guess we'll go ahead and just get started. The first thing that we're going to cover is I am a couple days out when I'm recording this of leaving San Francisco. I've been here for about 3 months now, on and off. So probably like 2.5 months total. But wow. Holy shit. Like truly one of the most beautiful adventures of my life, truly. And I didn't share a lot about this when I was going through it, but I kind of went through a little bit of a rock bottom leaving San Diego. I had a falling out with like two of my best friends. I had been wanting to leave for a while, but I thought I was always going to leave around October, November. I didn't think I was going to leave like 2 months earlier. And I just feel like spirit did what it needed to do to push me out. Obviously, I had to go through my grief process of like losing those friends, but honestly, on the other side, I'm like, maybe their higher selves were actually doing me a service because I feel like the amount of people that I connected to and the amount of growth that I've had coming to San Francisco was so insane. And I know I wouldn't have come like in November. I have too many things going on the East Coast. And so I truly am looking at this time as like such a beautiful gift. The first thing is starting over anywhere is hard, but I actually feel like starting over here was quite easy for me. I just felt like God had a hand in it. I met all the right people. I met people that knew community. I would just meet this person. They knew this person. They knew this person. To be honest, I did have an easier time here connecting with guys because there's a lot of guys here than girls. I've met some girlfriends, but truly the amount of like amazing men that I've met, and this is not romantic. I've met a lot of romantic, amazing men too, but I've had so many deep guy friend relationships deepen. And I feel like it was just really, really beautiful to watch that unfold. And if I look back at my time in San Francisco, like it just felt like a warm hug. It just feels like I was in a healing cocoon. And as you guys have seen, I've been in this beautiful home and I've actually gotten really close to my roommate, Katrina, who has just been so amazing. And I feel like we've really swapped codes in the sense that she's spiritual, but she's not like me, and I'm like on one side of the spectrum for sure. I feel like I'm on the deep end of spirituality, but she can hang. And she has a lot of like home codes and fashion codes. And just like I've been consuming her aura and her learnings and like what she's really good at. And I feel like I've been doing the same thing for her of like getting her back in touch with her intuition and her spirituality and in really, really subtle ways, right? We're not like actually directly talking about it, but just who I am and who she is in our essence has been such a cool thing to like be able to be able to give to each other. And so honestly, when I first got to San Francisco, I was like, okay, I'm for sure moving here when I'm done with all my travels, because I had a sublease in San Diego for 7 months. So I really don't need to make a decision until like February, March time period, because somebody's in my house and I'm going to be around the world. Then time unfolded and I was like, actually, I don't know. And now that I'm at the end of my stay here, I'm leaving in like 5 days, I still don't know. And I'm just letting myself not know, because typically how my old self was is that I would need to know, and I would need to make decisions, and I need to know the next step all the time. And the truth is that it doesn't feel like a absolute yes, and it doesn't feel like an absolute no. It feels like a maybe. And so I'm kind of waiting for things to click into place. And the thing about me is when I know, I typically know. I'm a very decisive person. I'm very in tune with my intuition. I typically don't have a hard time knowing what's right. So when you're in the messy middle and you don't know, it's really just a sign that you're not meant to, and you just need to keep trusting the unknown. Saturn is also back in Pisces. So my Saturn is in Pisces. I just went through my Saturn return, but then it got out of Pisces. If you're an astrology girl, if you're not, then just ignore me. And then now it's back in Pisces until February, which is so funny that it lines up with the end of my travels. And so I kind of feel like things are just up in the air until my Saturn return is done anyway, because the end of your Saturn return is like you're closing out a lot of lessons that you maybe just needed to learn. And it's so interesting because obviously in the beginning of my Saturn return, I went through the breakup and I felt like I was like learning a lot of themes about self-security and money and all these things, but it was like just super intense. Like my Saturn return was hands down the hardest thing I've ever been through. And then it got really light, and then Saturn went into Aries, and I was like, oh my God, it feels so good to be out. Like I feel so good. And then obviously Saturn went back into Pisces, which is in my sign. So Saturn kind of like my Saturn return was again returning with my friendship breakups. And I feel like with that, it really hit on a lot of the themes that I had to deal with in the beginning, but obviously nowhere as deep. Like I just was dealing with self-security and like, who am I now? And like, oh my God, I feel like shit, and just all these things that come along with breakups, friendship or romantic. And it was really interesting because one of the friendships that ended, like it did feel like we were in this weird partnership. It didn't even feel like we were in a friendship. Like we were just, obviously it was platonic, but like it was just closer than that. Like we were so tied together. And then obviously the uncoupling of that was just very jarring to my nervous system for a month or so. So anyway, it's just funny, astrology doesn't lie. And if you don't have the pattern app, I swear by it. Everybody in my life has it because I make them get it so that I can like look at our bond and I can look at my astrology and I can look what's going on in their life. And it's just the best app. So if you don't have the pattern app, I literally pay for it because I'm that obsessed with it. You don't have to pay. There's a free version too, but just get it because it's great. But yeah, so my time in San Francisco is coming to end. I would say highlights of San Francisco is all the people that I met. I met like a lot of soul family here, a lot of amazing people that just feel like I was meant to be in their life and they were meant to be in my life, and like our lives are going to be forever changed. I know that's dramatic, but like we just swapped codes, and yeah, like I don't know. San Francisco is just really, really beautiful. I'm really sad to leave. And simultaneously, I feel like it's wrapped up too nicely where I can kind of put a bookmark in it. I know I'll be back in San Francisco eventually, even if I don't move here, or I might move here in February and March or whatever. So who the hell knows? I don't know. Stay tuned to find out. Only God knows. But overall, I know I've said this on a few episodes, but I love San Francisco. The nature was insane. Like, love Mill Valley, love all the parks, love the walkability of the city. The food, guys, let's take a moment for the fucking food in San Francisco. I have not had a bad meal. Everything is literally like a 10 out of 10 restaurant. And I understand that I'm coming from San Diego and I think San Diego has like not really great food at all. Everything is pretty mid in San Diego, but man, the food in San Francisco really, really blew me away. Also the men. Not only the men that I was friends with, but the men I dated here. Oh my God, amazing men in San Francisco. People might say differently. I personally believe that dating is your frequency and not the city you're in. So I will just say, I think I have great dating experiences, but no matter what, like the men in San Francisco just treated me with so much respect. paid for my dinners, and that's never the point for me, but like just really like gentlemen, opened the doors, really, really respectful men, intelligent men, high EQ, emotional, asks me questions about myself, like really just amazing fucking men. So I loved the men in San Francisco. Truly felt, I don't know, they were great. What else did I love about San Francisco? My house, obviously. It was just so nice to be in a big house. Teddy loved it. Actually, no, Teddy hated it, but he loved his house. Like he hates the city because it's so loud, but he did love his house. And it was interesting because there was a stint where I went down to SoCal for my retreat and I drove down to LA and around the San Diego area. And it was like my body was just like, I'm not supposed to be here right now. It was like a really nice moment of peace, of knowing that I did the right thing for me. When I was back in SoCal, I don't know how to describe it. It just didn't feel right. It just was like, I'm just not supposed to be here right now. That's the thing about intuition, is it's never freaking not logical, right? I was like, I don't know, it's beautiful here and I do miss the beach and it's a vibe and everyone's beautiful and everyone's just like dressing like SoCal, and I've missed that in NorCal. But like, I just felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. It just wasn't supposed to be there in that moment. And again, I could come back in February, go back in February and feel completely differently. I don't know. But right now, I know I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, and God doesn't make mistakes. So that's a message for me and for you. So yay for closing my San Francisco chapter. Where I'm headed next is I'm going to Florida. My home base will be my parents' house, and my sisters both live there as well. From there, I actually have 2 retreats that I'm attending as an attendee. So I have like some spiritual retreats, and then in January, I'm moving to Peru for a month. So yay. If you've been waiting for my next retreat, it's officially here. If you haven't heard or you haven't listened to the podcast episode, I'm taking you to Peru with my soul sister and mentor, Daniela Gill. Last year, I went on Daniela's retreat and had the most life-changing experience. And I feel so called to host a retreat and bring you here with me. The Sacred Valley is the most perfect place to not only unwind, but reconnect with God and yourself. When you join us in Peru, we'll be having a Wachuma ceremony, drinking cacao every morning, hiking the Andes Mountains, learning how to cook Peruvian dishes, to mezcals, prayer ceremonies, Akashic workshops, intuition development workshops, and so much more. The dates are January 23 through 30. If you want to join me and Daniela in Peru, you can book a call with the link below. The next update is when I'm recording this, I'm 4 days into my second liver flush of this year. You guys have known about my hormone healing journey, and I know I haven't like given you a full episode on it. Like I know that it has been a long time and I've told you guys that I'm going to give you the whole journey, but the truth is like it's so complicated and I'm doing so many things still that I'm just in the middle of it. But I will give you a little insight into my liver flush because it's like really cool, and I've learned a lot of the science behind it this week listening to podcasts, and I'm like, wait, I'm obsessed. So the basis of my hormone healing journey is I realized that my hormones were a little effed when I lost my period for like 6 months. And at the time I hired a hormone and gut health coach because I also had a lot of like stomach issues. Then basically the basis of healing your hormones is that your body feels unsafe. That's why it's not giving you a period, because why would you get pregnant if your body feels unsafe? My body felt unsafe personally. It can feel unsafe because of your nervous system, but my body personally felt unsafe because I was under eating, I was overtraining, and I had been dieting for years. And every woman basically has probably been on a diet for years, meaning like a couple times a year you eat a lot less calories, but your body's still stressed out. And at the time I was weight training like 6 to 7 times a week. I was running, I was doing the fucking most. And I also was eating like not enough food because I didn't know how much I was eating at the time, but then I tracked it obviously with my coach and I was not eating enough food. That over a long period of time is very, very, very bad for your body. And my metabolism was basically shit. My cortisol was so high, my adrenals were shot, like everything kind of just like fell into itself. The basis is that in order to make your body feel safe, you need to eat more. You need to reset your metabolism and you need to push food. But you can't push food without gaining weight unless your liver is optimized. Yeah, that's basically the basis of it. And your liver is responsible for 25% of your metabolism. So if you clean your liver, you can eat 25% more and not gain weight. And so I did a 1 liver flush, and guys, it was so bad. Like It was so bad. I was so nauseous the whole time. I felt like shit. I was having massive detox symptoms. And it made sense because now that I'm past that, after it basically illuminated all my gut issues, because I had H. pylori and I had a lot of other gut bacteria things. And that's kind of illuminated because on the liver flush, like you cut out gluten, dairy, caffeine, and that's actually why I stopped drinking caffeine. So I cut out caffeine, and so like you really see like, okay, is your digestion good? Are you going to go to the bathroom without caffeine? Like things like that. And so my gut was so bad that it was just such a bad experience the first time. Now I'm 4 days into it and I'm like having the best experience on this flush. Again, we're like upping my food again, and so we're flushing to clean my liver even more so that I can eat even more food and not gain weight. So it's like a really kind of cool process. After that, you go through a feed process. Like, I don't know, I kind of want to bring my coach on and talk about my entire process. So let me know if that would be something that you guys would be interested in. Leave a comment below or DM me on Instagram or something, because again, it's a really complicated process, but the point of what I was telling you is that I'm 4 days into my second flush and I'm feeling really, really good. And I'm eating, I think, much more. She doesn't really tell me exactly how much I'm eating, but I'm eating much more and I'm eating a lot. And I feel great. I feel less puffy. And like, unfortunately for me, I do feel, just less inflamed, not eating gluten, dairy and stuff. So that sucks for me. I also know that I was a little bit addicted to sugar, and now I'm like obviously getting to the point where I'm not addicted to sugar anymore. So that's just like a yay. It just yay. But I've said this so many times. I'm in my 7th year. It's all about healing. For me, it was body healing, and I'm really ready to be out. Like, I'm not a girl that's always on a freaking cleanse like this, guys. Like, I am not that girl. This year I am, but like, it's so crazy. It just has been such a health healing journey for me. And yeah, it's just wild, but I'm usually not that girl that's super into cleanses and parasite and this, but I'm like, okay, maybe this is just a part of me now. But my hope is that this just becomes a more integrated part. Like, I feel like this was on the forefront of my life this year, but I would love for this to be like more of a back burner thing, like more of I do cleanses every once in a while. But I will say it's getting that time where I can just feel like I need a parasite cleanse. I'm not obviously not going to do it like right now, but I need to do it soonish. So I was thinking maybe we do a group cleanse. If anybody's interested in doing a parasite cleanse with me, maybe we do a group cleanse like in the new year, like January, February. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know, because I would love to do it with you guys. Maybe we have a cute little group chat and we all egg each other on and we talk about it. Could be fun. Could be fun is all I'm saying. And, if you have parasites like itchy butt, acne, your psoriasis is flaring up, gut issues, bloating, indigestion, parasites. If you eat salmon, if you eat raw fish, if you drink tap water anytime, or you travel, you probably have parasites. So you should be parasite cleansing. I mean, Kim, Worm Queen, who I've had on the podcast, we'll link that episode below. She says 3 to 4 times a year. I'm probably going to be a more 1 to 2 times a year type of girl, but you do you. But if you've never cleansed, like, you definitely need to cleanse. Like, you definitely have parasites, and I'm positive about that. I'm just positive. If you haven't listened to that episode though, just go ahead and listen to that episode. And if you want to get the cleanse that I use, I cannot recommend it enough. So many of my friends have taken it. So many of you guys have taken it, and it's great. And it also really helps you with like clearing trauma and grief and just density in your body. And that was actually something that I was going to talk about. So I've done a lot of cleanses this year. Let's be honest, 2 parasite cleanses, 2 liver cleanses. Like, I've done a lot. One thing that has been pretty consistent with me every time I cleanse is I literally release like grief and unprocessed emotions. Even the second day of this liver cleanse, I had, when you have a dream about someone in your past and it's so freaking real and you're like, I just processed a lot of emotions in that dream. I had a dream like that. And it brought me back because my best friend is currently doing the parasite cleanse I just told you about, and we'll link that below too. You can get it in the link below. But she was like, Kristen, I'm like dealing with like a lot of like unprocessed, really old emotions. Is that normal? And I was like, yeah, it's normal. And then I just got back into the detox space, and your liver holds on to anger, unprocessed emotions, trauma. And that's what I've been processing too. And I'm like, God, detox is so real. Like, releasing these toxins in your body, these toxins are holding on to trauma, to grief. And it's so funny because when I was little, my grandma used to say something about like cleansing the vessel or something, or maybe my mom said it. I don't know. Someone said something about like cleansing the vessel is how you get close to God. And I never really understood it, but now I really get it of like when you are fasting and when you, I've done a 3-day water fast. Have I even told you guys about the 3-day water fast? I don't even know. Like I've done so much this year, but when you're like cleansing your vessel, you are literally cleaning it out so you can hold more light. That is what cleansing is. It's cleaning the vessel so you can hold more light, so you can have more light in your being. And we're here to project light. Like that's what God wants for us is to project out light. So I don't know, guys, just super interesting. But yeah, that's been my cleanse journey 4 days in. When you guys listen to this, obviously I'll probably be done with my liver detox. Fingers crossed. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how I feel. The other really cool thing is like, because it's releasing so much inflammation from you on the liver, even though you're eating way more, you kind of just like slim down a little bit, and not in like a weight way. Like it can be like that, but just like your inflammation in your face and your stomach, like I can just tell I'm less inflamed. And I always used to say, I'm fine with gluten and dairy, and I am, but like, damn, I don't like being inflamed. So I'm annoyed that I might have to really actually cut that shit out. And that's just an annoying thing, but I'll do what I need to do to clean my vessel. I'm also back on my microdosing game, which is great. Ever since the mushroom trip. Oh my God. I haven't even told you guys about my last mushroom trip. Yeah, the mushroom trip was crazy. Maybe I'll do a whole episode recapping my mushroom trip. I've just been loving mushrooms again, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, now I'm processing the fact that I need to tell you guys about my mushroom trip. But I've been loving microdosing again. I do it pretty intuitively. And it's been really good. I kind of was off of it for like 6 months, but now we're back, baby. So that's good. Also, I'm like in such a busy season. So after Joshua Tree, I kind of had an option to stay with my best friend in SoCal and like just stay at her house and hang out with her and just like do whatever. But honestly, I kind of came back to San Francisco to like be in more of a hustle work mode, because I am so freaking busy right now at work building School of Intuition. And like I just hired a new employee, and I'm also building another program called Podcast Portal for my one-on-one client to help her launch her podcast. And you guys, the amount of content that I've been creating every week, like I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little burned out. Like it is actually insane, but I want to just share with you, if you're having trouble making 1 to 2 videos a day, I just want to put this into perspective. This is what's possible when your energy is dialed. And I'm not saying this is sustainable, but this is where I'm at currently. This week alone, let me tell you how much content I made. On top of daily TikTok videos, okay, because I just do that every day, I recorded 4 video modules for School of Intuition, 3 video modules for the podcast portal. I'm batching 3 podcast episodes today, and then I recorded 2 meditations for my programs that needed to be recorded. And I'm also editing most of this myself. So obviously I'm not doing the podcast myself, but everything else I edit and upload myself, mostly just because I haven't hired an assistant to do that yet. And I'm training my new employee. So it's been a lot, but when your energy is really dialed, and I've had to be like really in my masculine with work lately and just getting my energy dialed and really just on top of like time blocking is like really, I've never been a time blocker, but like right now I'm time blocking because I'm like, no, from 1 to 3, I have to record a podcast. I have to, there's no other option. Like I have to get it done. And so it's been really cool to see the amount of output I can produce when my energy is set, when I don't have leaky energy. Yeah, it's just been cool. If you ever wonder why you procrastinate, self-sabotage, you can't take action when you really want to, or even just feel massive doubt and imposter syndrome, odds are you have an inner child wound. If you're listening to this podcast, it's no surprise that inner work is my bread and butter. But the thing with doing inner work and inner child work specifically is that in order to do it effectively, you have to know the exact block that is holding you back. So I created a completely free quiz to help you find your biggest inner child block. Not only that, after you find your block, I'm going to give you the exact steps and tools that I would use to heal them, or I would give you if you were my client. There's no strings attached. I just want to help you heal. So if you want to take this free quiz, go down below and you'll find it linked. Okay, we're going to end with a juicy share. I just feel like this is really Kristen style. So I've been dating a lot not a lot, but like I've had my fair share of dating in San Francisco. But there was this one guy that I connected with, and we actually just had a really beautiful ending. And I'll tell you about that. But I actually want to tell you about just like how fucking crazy the synchronicity is, because I just am like, does this happen to other people? Because like what the helly, you know what I mean? What the heliante? Just the shit that happens to me is so crazy and feels so synchronistic, and like, I don't know. I just feel like I need to share this share. I haven't shared it yet. I think I'm going to make a TikTok video about it, but like you guys are going to get the tea. I've been dating guys here, and I've been meeting them all in the wild, like just talking to people in the wild, and they, you know, we get each other's numbers and then we go on a date, whatever. And they've all been great, but like nothing that has like really stuck and felt like was even worth sharing. And so I am one day just bored, and I get on Hinge, as one does when they're bored. I haven't been on one Hinge date here. And I just like, I've never actually like in my entire life of being single, and I've been single for a while now. Like I've almost been single for like 3 years, I think. I think I've been on like 2 Hinge dates the whole time. Like if that, like I'm just really not a big Hinger, but I'm nothing against it either. I'm like, you know, you kind of got to open all portals if you want God to come through. So it doesn't really matter how you meet them as long as you meet them, right? So I'm always down to open the portal, so to speak. Anyway, I get on Hinge, not really thinking I'm going to meet anyone on here, but I have this guy that slides in, and he comments on a picture that's in San Diego, and he's like, oh, is this beach in San Diego? And I was like, oh my God, yeah, like it is this beach. Have you been? And he was like, so weird. I literally just got back yesterday from there, spending a month there. So he was doing what I'm doing in San Francisco, but just where I lived in San Diego, in the exact town part I lived in. So he was like, it's called like North County. So he was like, yeah, I just got back from North County, like whatever. And so I'm like, oh my God, okay, cool. Something about that just made me feel at home, like that he just got back from where I'm from. I was just like, oh my God, cool, amazing. And then he was like, do you want to go out to a jazz club? And I was like, so we had 2 exchanges, and he asked me out, and I was like, down. He was like, what's your number? And I texted him my number. He texted me and asked me, and basically told me the date and time we were going to go out. And I was like, okay, slay. Like this guy's like, you know, doing it. I'm down. So I meet him at a jazz club in San Francisco, which is actually such a vibe. So we get there, and from the beginning, like I'll just actually give you the vibes of the whole day, because it was actually a really good date. Like I actually drove my car, which like in San Francisco you're not supposed to do because there's never parking, but I'm just used to driving everywhere in San Diego. So I was just like drove my car, and then I couldn't find a parking spot, and then he like found one and held it for me, and then like it was just this terrible but also cute thing where he was like, here's your spot, and I was like, hi, thank you for saving me the spot, and then whatever. So anyway, we meet, vibes right away. Like we're like, he's super cute, man, all the things, tall, handsome, whatever. So vibes right away. We're definitely like, okay, cool. This is going to be fun. We sit down and we start talking, and again, just like super big chemistry. We can talk about anything. We're just getting deep. Then I ask him where he's from, and he's like, oh, like this super small town in Wisconsin. You wouldn't know it. And my sister, you guys actually never really hear about this sister. So I have 2 sisters. My middle sister actually lived in Wisconsin for 9 years because she moved there after college and then met her now husband, who she has 2 kids with, and they stayed in Wisconsin for 9 years, but now they live in Florida. They live in Anna Grace's house. So now everything's coming together, but old house, if you heard that episode. So anyway, I was like, well, my sister actually lived in Madison for like 8 or 9 years. So I actually know a lot of Wisconsin. Like, where did you live? And he's like, okay, it's this little town called XYZ. And I was like, that's where my brother-in-law is from. My sister goes there for Christmas or Thanksgiving like every year. And he's like, no way. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh my gosh, that's so weird. So we were like, okay, cool. Cute synchronicity. Just wait. Then he's like asking me about my ethnicity, and I'm telling him, you know, my mom's from Palestine or Israel, from the Middle East, and my dad is from the Philippines, and he's also German. Like my last name is actually, and you guys might not even know this. Oh my God, you guys might not even know this. My last name is actually von Suk. I know, crazy, which is German, but then they actually shortened it to Suk, and all my cousins are Suks. Like it's literally like my cousins are all the Suks. Somewhere along the way, my dad just got lazy and just like started saying such. And so like it is Suk, and I just don't, it's one of those things where like some people say Suk, some people say such, and I just like gotta go with it. So my last name is actually Suk. It's actually Kristen Suk. I know, crazy. You guys might not have known that. But anyway, so I'm telling him that my mom's from the Middle East, my dad's Filipino and German. He's like, no way. My dad is from the Middle East and my mom is German. And we're like, weird. Cool though, you know? Okay, so here's the kicker. For this one, we need to go back to the days of my breakup. So you guys might know the story in depthly, you might not, but let me give you a little of the insight of what happened during the actual breakup. So me and my ex are living in LA at the time, okay? And right before we moved to LA, we lived in San Diego. We lived in North County. And we were renting the short-term rental for 3 months, okay? This was like during COVID. Then we decided that he needed to be in LA for work, so we were gonna move to LA. Then I decided I wasn't happy in LA and I wanted to move back to San Diego. So anyway, we decided to move back to San Diego, but where we wanted to live, it's really hard to find a rental. Like it's super hard to find housing there. So basically you need to be there in order to rent something there. So we are in LA, right? Then we move back to San Diego together and are staying in the short-term rental that we've lived in before. So now we've like been here before, like in total, we lived at the short-term rental like 7 or 8 months. But this time it's like only, 3 months. And so we move and we're looking for, I think we moved in November and we were looking until February. We were looking until February to find a place to rent and we couldn't find anything at the time. So anyway, February 5th. In February, that's when my ex decided, we literally looked at a house in the morning and then my ex decided that he wanted to finally share the fact that he was not happy and he wasn't able to speak his truth, LOL. And so we look at a house in the morning. In the afternoon, we sit on the couch, we're having a discussion, and then he has a breakdown and tells me that he doesn't know who he is and he's not happy and he needs to leave, and then packs up all his shit and gets on a flight at 6 a.m. the next day back to the East Coast. And that was the last time I've spoken to him. So yeah, it was a very traumatic breakup is what I'm trying to say. But we are living in this short-term apartment, okay? I am obviously a fucking mess after this because the person I just thought I was going to marry just packed up his shit and went to the East Coast and told me not to speak to him and told me not to contact him. So I'm really, really torn up right now, like more than torn up. I'm making light of the story, but I'm super torn up. In 10 days from my breakup, or maybe it was like 12 or 14, I am supposed to leave to go on the retreat to Costa Rica. This is the retreat that changed my life. Like this is the retreat that I met my best friend Brie at. This is the retreat that my psychic gifts opened up at. Like it was impactful retreat. But the thing is I had a flight out of LA. Okay. So I have a flight out of LA. So I'm talking to my family on the phone and I'm looking at how to change my flight from LA to Jacksonville where I'm from. And it's like $2,500. Okay. So I am in this apartment alone in a new city. I have 0 friends. The only people I know are my ex's fucking family. I had like a couple friends, but like these were new friends. Like these were friends that I met like a week before. Okay. I know no one. And I am just in this apartment screaming, crying to God, unable to eat, unable to sleep. It was like just the most miserable memories in this apartment because it was so much pain that I was in. Let's pause there. Let's go back to my date in San Francisco with this guy. So then we started talking, I actually just got back from a stint of traveling and testing out cities to see where I wanted to live. Exactly what I'm doing right now, right? And he's like, so I went to Santa Barbara, I went to LA. He went to actually the same place that I lived in LA. And my last stop was San Diego in North County. Then I was like, oh, okay, well, where did you live in the town? Because like it's a really small town and like I've lived there now for 4 years. So I knew all the streets and I'm like, I want to know where you lived. And he's like, oh, like I can't remember the street name. So he pulls out his phone, guys. He pulls out his phone and he looks into his maps and he pulls up the address. And I look at his phone and look at the address and I like spit my drink out. And I'm like, oh my God, no way. No way. No fucking way. And he's like looking at me and I'm like freaking out. And he's like, what? And I was like, I lived there. He was in the same rental that I was in when me and my ex broke up. That's where he was staying. Guys, this town is small, but it's not that small. Like there's a lot of rentals around. And he was like, what? That's where you used to live? And I'm like, yeah. We like say the landlord's name. Like it's just this really crazy thing. It was honestly a lot to process. Like it was like crazy. Anyway, so long story short, me and this guy have just like crazy synchronicities. And there was more stuff, but that was the craziest one, was the house. Like he was doing exactly what I was doing, except he was in North County and I was in San Francisco. Now he's back in San Francisco. And then like he used to live in the house that I used to live. It was weird. Okay. So anyway, I'll tell you guys how it ends because it was actually beautiful. And I think that this is a really good, honestly, like lesson around dating. Okay. So he just got back to San Francisco because he decided, actually, I do want to live here. I hope this guy doesn't mind that I'm telling about his life, but you'll never know who he is. And he probably will never listen to my podcast because he doesn't even use social media. So anyway, we date for like a month and a half, maybe 2 months, but probably like more like a month and a half. We go on a couple dates, but you know, in between this is like, I'm also going to my retreat. I'm coming back. That was like a 2-week period. So there's like a lot of time and space in between all these dates. And it was also like kind of good because we had a really intense beginning. Like that was just a lot for both of us. We were like, what is going on? Like I literally texted my best friend, I just met either my husband or the person before my husband because like WTF, like this is just too close. And he was also very close to like what I desire in a partner too, right? So long story short, you know, I got to know him more and obviously things unfold and you get to know people and they're not just like this person in your head, but they're a real person. And how it ended was that we were going on dates, but the communication in between the dates, like it wasn't consistent. And it was like, it would be sometimes 5-6 days until I would hear from him. That just wasn't feeling good based on the fact that we were going on more dates, but we weren't talking more. And so there was a moment for me to speak my truth and like not settle. And, you know, when you're manifesting any relationship, like friendships or romantic, the energetic that you need to do is like not settle and speak your truth. And so I like, you know, had the conversation with him and I just like told him, I said, you know, like, you're such a great guy. Obviously, everything is so synchronistic with us and we have so much fun together. I'm just desiring the need for more communication. And I know that you just moved back and you're getting a new job and you don't have a house yet. And he was going through a lot of transitions and he is. And I said, you know, is this something that you have space for? And he, you know, had a reflection and he just reflected like, you know, you're right. I haven't been giving this my all because I haven't had space to do it. Maybe we take a step back and maybe if the timing aligns in a future place, then we can revisit it because I do really like want to get to know you. And I was just like, okay, cute, like whatever. So I felt so good that I spoke my truth because I know that we could have gone on more dates and I would have just harbored resentment and maybe just had not been able to show up as who I wanted to. And I know what I want and I'm so clear about what I want in my next partnership and I'm not necessarily in a rush to get it. Like I'm definitely, you know, I want it, but I'm not in a rush to get it and I'm not willing to settle for like something that's not exactly it. And it was hard, guys, because truly like he was really close to what I want. Like there was just like, I'm like, damn, you're a really good guy and we get along and everything, the chemistry and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, though, long story short, it ended really, really well, but he forgot something at my house and he needed to grab it and we just kept missing each other. So what ended up happening was I just left it on the bottom of my stairs and we have a door code and I was like, I just gave him a code and I was like, hey, just go grab it, blah, blah, blah. Then I'm walking on the street and I text him because we missed each other. I said, you know, go grab your thing. Like, this is the code, you know, whatever, best of luck. And he's driving on the street. And guys, San Francisco is big. Like this doesn't happen. This is not a small town. It's a fucking city. He's driving on the street and he sees me walking and he pulls over and he's like, Kristen. And I'm like, oh my God, hey. And I'm like, the universe brings us together again. And we just had like a clearing conversation. He's like, Kristen, like, listen, I'm bummed. Like I want to find a place to live. I want to start this job so I can get on with my life. Like, but you're right. I haven't been able to give this my all. And you know, it just like, it hasn't been fair to you. It hasn't been fair to me. Like I'm just really bummed. And we had a beautiful, clearing conversation. I spoke my truth. He spoke his truth. We both like have a lot of respect for each other and know that it's just not the right time. And to be honest, like I'm leaving soon. So even though I could be flexible with my life, like it's just maybe not the right time. How we left it is I actually have no attachment. Like you might be sitting here thinking like, oh, Kristen's gonna, you know, be super attached to this guy and think that it's going to happen. I don't even know if I'm moving back here. And so I genuinely am letting it go with love. Like I am like, if it's meant to be, it will be in the future. But I actually know full body, it's like not right now. And I don't know if it will ever be right. And I just know I'm not willing to settle. And there's things that I'm still like, I don't know if that's my dude, it's not like I think that this guy is it and it's not. It's like, I don't know. There's so much unknown, but where I left it is such a beautiful place. And I think that dating can be such a beautiful experience if we actually just speak our truth and we actually like come from a loving place and like speak from our heart. And so that's where I'm at. And I just wanted to share that crazy dating experience because like, what the helly? Guys, tell me if you think that's crazy too. Like, I feel like that's just, I know it's a synchronicity, but I feel like that's a lot of synchronicity all at once. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. That's my life updates. Let me know if you guys want more of these episodes because I would love to share more about my life. I've realized that I'm not as vulnerable as I can be and I'm trying to change that. So yay for me, but I'm down to share more if you guys want to know. But I know that also this is like a teaching podcast and I want to give you guys what you desire. So anyway, that's it for today. I'm tired of yapping. I love you guys. I'll see you in another episode. Subscribe, like, all the things. If you want to come to Peru with me on my Peru retreat, it's in January. I think we have like 4 spots left or something like that. But yeah, I love y'all. Have a good week and I'll see you on another episode. Bye.